The other theory is Cosmozoan Theory. This states that life on the Earth originally came from elsewhere in the universe, possibly from another planet. For example, meteorites brought bacterial spores, germs, to the Earth. Meteorites are the things which fall from um, falls on the universe, on the Earth. I mean, on the Earth. These are the rocks, mainly rocks, and sometimes they are also nickel and iron things, through which these things can come. They, some people think in such a way. This theory did not gain any significant support because it lacks evidence and it is strongly linked to the eternity of life, theory of the origin of life. So, the eternity of life and this theory is not cannot be experimented or investigated. The other is the last theory, which is accepted today, is biochemical theory. When I say accepted today is from the scientific point of view, from the evolutionary point of view, this is accepted theory. It is also called inorganic evolution. Inorganic means not organic. It suggests that life on Earth originated as a result of a number of biochemical reactions, producing organic molecules which combined or associated to form cells. This theory is also called abiogenesis, which states life originates from chemical, inanimate, or abiotic substances. It looks like living things come from non-living things actually, but uh, through the combination of different elements, there will be formation of organic molecules. Then finally, cells come. Uh, Life evolved from non-living substances by interacting with the natural environment. It took about 1 billion years, a large uh, number of years. Organic molecules such as proteins, polymers, and chemical reactions to form first protocells. You can think about, you can relate with what? Prototype, like that, protocells. Okay? The first, uh, the pre-cells come through this process. Oparin-Haldane hypothesis. These are the two scientists who contributed a lot in this theory, biochemical theory. The atmosphere of the primitive Earth, primitive means not advanced, okay, not advanced. So in such Earth, there are primitive atmospheres such as ammonia, hydrogen, water vapor in gaseous form, and methane. These are the primitive atmosphere of the Earth was a reducing atmosphere. No free oxygen or no oxygen gas. Okay, no oxygen gas. There is oxygen, for example, in this molecule, but there is no free oxygen. You can relate reducing, the reduction oxidation. In the reduction, it is having hydrogen. If there is oxidation, there is oxygen. But in this case, there is no free oxygen. So it is what? It is therefore called a reducing atmosphere. At high temperature, that is above boiling point. The boiling point is what? 100 degrees Celsius. Above that temperature, the chemical reactions of these gases, this ammonia, hydrogen, water vapor, and methane, gases were occurred in the primitive sea and the early sea. Then the sea became a hot dilute soup. You can think a soup of organic monomers, because this soup contains what? Organic monomers. The monomers which are the units to build the polymers, the organic polymers. And the small polymers and leading to the first true cells. Finally, what would made from these organic monomers are the polymers, okay, small polymers, then finally first true cells. In 1953, Stanley Miller tested the biochemical theory. Okay, this is testable theory. Mixture of methane, ammonia, hydrogen, and water vapor introduced into 5-liter flask to simulate the Earth's primitive reducing atmosphere, then energized by an electrical discharge apparatus to represent ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Then products were allowed to condense and collect in a lower flask, which modeled a body of water on the Earth's surface. You will see the picture. Heat supply to this flask recycled the water vapor just as water evaporates from lakes and seas before moving into the atmosphere and condensing again as rain. After a day of continuous operation, a thin layer of hydrocarbons on the surface of the water observed. Miller, leaving the equipment for longer periods of time, a larger variety and more complex organic molecules were formed, which including amino acids to form proteins. The building blocks of proteins are amino acids. Then pentose sugar to form nucleic acids. The building blocks of nucleic acids. DNA and RNA are the sugar, pentose sugar. Hexose sugar need for respiration. Okay, the respiration or the metabolism, that is catabolism, is using what hexoses that are glucoses. We know that to form starch and cellulose, that are polysaccharides, hydrogen cyanide, starting point for synthesis of nitrogen containing bases in nucleotides, nitrogen bases. Here you can see nitrogen. This experiment gave strong evidence to support the Oparin-Haldane hypothesis. This is the experiment. Then here is a mixture of, here in this case, here is a mixture of the primitive atmospheric components. Then here is a electrode as a source of electric light. Then here is heating the water to simulate the primitive seas. Then evaporation is here. Then here is cooled water containing organic compounds. Then cold water is getting in. Then condenser is here. This is the condenser. Then the flask is here to collect sample for chemical analysis. Okay. Then this is the Miller experiment. Then origin of autotrophs. Autotrophs are organisms which can make their own food. So the first life, that is the first cell, appeared on Earth about 4 billion years ago, and they were anaerobes, heterotrophs, and prokaryotes. Anaerobes are organisms which do not need oxygen. Then heterotrophs, which couldn't make their own food, and then prokaryotes. They would have feed on organic chemicals, okay, as they are heterotrophs, which formed spontaneously in the waters of the Earth. The three consecutive lines of evolution of organisms on Earth leading to Archaebacteria. The first one is Archaebacteria. The first appeared organisms are Archaebacteria. They are prokaryotes, including thermophilic. Thermophilic means high temperature loving. They can exist in high temperature. Sulfobacteria, methanobacteria and halophilic or salt-loving bacteria. They can survive under harsh or extreme environment. Archaebacteria. Then eubacteria are two bacteria, ordinary bacteria and cyanobacteria, blue-green algae come, and prokaryotes then evolved into protista, fungi, plants, animals. Nearly all are what? Aerobes. Okay? They use oxygen or they need oxygen to exist. The oxygen comes from the autotrophs, such as blue-green algae. Thanks for watching.